Hey, welcome to my first ever video log. Yeah, so I'm going to talk today about my time at MCM this weekend just gone. It was a heck of a lot of good fun, absolutely ram-packed for the weekend. They made it the biggest show that I've been to, where they've actually opened up both sides of the hall, so they were using a lot more space. They had a lot more space on the show floor, but it was just completely rammed, especially over the Saturday. So if I just kind of go through what I was up to on the days, I mean, Friday, I didn't really do a lot, apart from nose around while it was quiet. I went to play Lord of Shadows 2, Castlevania, which is what I got that poster for. That was really cool to play. My friend Ace embarrassingly took a photograph just as I got killed. It was kind of easy to get to grips with the controls, but I kept screwing up like you do. But I did finish the demo, and it was a lot of fun, and I do think I'm going to be getting the game. Although I haven't tried Lord of Shadows 1, so I actually probably want to get that first, as I think the story actually continues from the first one to the second one, so I need to get that. Other than that, I did pop over to what was called Theatre A, which is the big theatre on the far side of the place. I went in there actually for one thing particular, which I'll just go into in just a sec. But while I was when I went there, just before what I wanted to see started, they were showing the Tomorrow People, which is, I believe, based or something similar to what was shown years and years ago on, I think it was another program with the same name, where basically you got these guys who have mutated or they've evolved or whatever, and they gain supernatural powers that they can do. They've got telekinesis and teleportation and telepathy, everything telly. In a kind of cliche, it's, they've mutated, they've got all these superpowers, and general humanity is scared of them. They don't know whether they should be worried for their superpowers because of what power they actually hold against humanity as such. Therefore, they're kind of wanting to research on them and remove their powers and or try and work them out a bit more. And like you would, they formed a resistance. There was a lot of action, a lot of really heavy hits. During the scenes which I did see, there was the guys were going to rescue this chap Stephen, who had just realised his powers, and they'd go to rescue him, and they were in this hall which was supposed to reduce their powers, and suddenly this guy was able to teleport out of his room, and so his powers were so much more powerful than everyone else, and his uncle worked for the big corporation trying to prevent them from evolving any further or trying to research them, and he's asking him to join him in his quest to research, etc., or learn more about them. I'm not sure when it's supposed to actually be aired on TV as such, but it did look interesting. I don't know if I'm, would watch it while it's on TV, but I might catch it sometime after. Other than that, the show I did actually want to watch, which was tweeted out by Tara Platt. Yeah, Tara Platt. I kept saying Tara, but after watching this show, I realised it was Tara. The film is actually called Con Artists. I think it was about an hour and a half. It was what they call a mockumentary. So it was a documentary film, kind of in a light humour. So there were a lot of staged events, just kind of making it funny and over dramatising some of the scenes and stuff, showing the voice artists going to conventions, hence the name Con Artists. It was really good fun. I was absolutely hooked on watching it. So, obviously there was a lot of entertaining in there. I am actually going to be doing a proper review, so I'll do that in a separate video. But after the showing, I did actually pop up on the stage and chat with Tara and Yuri on the camera as feedback to the director and producer, I believe, Boris. they were collecting feedback from people that watched the show. They said the first time they've actually aired it to anyone outside of their little small group, so they haven't actually shown anyone in public until then, which is pretty cool to be one of the first, and it was a really good watch. So when it is made available, which we don't know when, I would definitely recommend going to see it. Check out my full review when I do put it out. So let's crack on to what did I do on Saturday. I did meet Yuri and Tara again. I met them at the signing panel, the MYM signing panel, and I got a few things signed and had a quick little chat to them. Actually, one of the best things I got signed was this bottle of water, which Tara signed for me. If you watch Con Artists, you'll get exactly what I mean. She wrote "and get a coffee." There was all a kind of inside joke with regards to the Con Artist movie. What else did she sign? I got my Dynasty Warriors 8 signed and Dynasty Warriors 7 signed by Tara. I forgot to get them signed by Yuri, who did do Sun Tzu. Also, I did get Yuri to sign my Dead or Alive 5 art book. He voiced Hayate. This is where there we go. So I got him to sign just there. So that was really cool of them, and it was really good to kind of chat to them, and I also gave a little bit more feedback on what I thought of Con Artists when I was there, but due to queues, time was very limited, and I did get a picture with them as well, which is really cool. The other thing I was actually there for, I was doing some bits with Tecmo Europe, and I was actually covering Yaiba, just the new game which is coming out next year from Tecmo Europe, and I was actually working on the booth for Yaiba on the Sunday, but I was kind of sticking around during the whole of the event, so it was a kind of place to meet up with some of the fans, some of my friends, etc. It's a nice little meeting spot. We also kind of stuck around while they did the freebies in the middle of the day, which absolutely hectic. It was so the crowds were just immense. They were throwing out all kinds of phone covers and all sorts. I did mooch around some of the stalls. We did manage to pick up a couple of pictures from one of the Japanese artists, and God knows how much food and whatnot, you know, all of these, which is really, really cool. Can't go wrong with Japanese snacks. We also had some the crushed ice stuff, which is good, apart from they ran out of melon. So not melon, they ran out of mango, and then just as we were getting served, they didn't run out of mango, but I stuck with strawberry. Long story short, I had strawberry. I bumped into a couple of friends there, and we went to the esports thing, where they were showing League of Legends. I think it was the European qualifiers or something. I think it was the one we went to was actually meant to be the losers bracket for League of Legends European qualifiers or something. And unfortunately, due to the fact that it took forever to actually get started, I think we were in there for about an hour, and it was meant to have started at 11. I ended up having to leave about 12:30 to go to what I wanted to go to in the afternoon. So I didn't actually catch any of the esports League of Legends matches, but I hear that they were pretty good matches, pretty intense. Would have been good fun to at least catch one match, but I didn't see any of that. But after skipping there, we went over to the Namco panel, which we just caught the end of the Tales of panel. At the Tales of panel, they were showing Tales of Symphonia HD and Tales of Cilia 2. Hideo Baba was there. He was really cool, just demonstrating, giving us all the information, showing off the collector's editions, teasing everyone in the crowd, answering the quick Q&A session. But they actually overrun their session, which overran into another panel that I actually wanted to watch, which was the voiceover panel, which had some of the key voice artists that were there over the weekend, including Yuri and Tara. There was Richard Epcar, Ellen Stern, there was Roger Craig Smith, there was Troy Baker, and one other whose name has completely eluded me. Basically, they had their panel where it was pretty much an open Q&A session. Someone randomly asked Troy for a bit of his clothing, and Yuri as well. I think Troy managed to snag some threads or tags or something from his jacket, I think. So that was probably one of the weird things that happened there. But the actual panel itself was really, really cool. It was really good fun to watch and hear some of their impressions. They didn't do a lot of actual voices during the panel, but hearing some of their views, and there was a lot of general questions which you hear all the time, so there wasn't any new or unique answers that we were hearing, apart from actually someone putting out a question about the Joker and how they kind of portray, and whether or not they look into the previous voice actors, people like Mark Hamill and stuff. And one person that really I thought answered it so well was Richard Epcar, who voices the Joker in Injustice, and his answer was probably one of the best I've actually heard. I mean, he said that he's not heard Mark Hamill's Joker, which you'd think, why the hell has he not heard Mark Hamill's Joker? Because basically he doesn't need to, and I think that was his point. You know, he gets into the character. He doesn't have this voice that he has to almost replicate or try to be. It's basically he puts himself into the character, and he puts in what he thinks the Joker should sound like, and I think, you know, I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and the way he answers his part to say, you know, he doesn't have to follow on from another voice. He can basically just jump in there and he does what he does, and that's why he's so professional. And you know, I have a lot of respect for Richard and his voices and things that he does. So that was probably the highlight of that panel, actually. And it was only a quick word that he said, and it just made a heck of a lot. Meant a heck of a lot in his answer. So yeah, apart from that, I mean, it's pretty much still hunting, fighting crowds. I mean, as I was saying, the Saturday was just absolutely manic. You could barely move. If you were trying to move between where Theatre A was and the main hall, that whole section in the middle was absolutely rammed. So it was just a nightmare to try and navigate and move around. There wasn't any chance of really playing any games because things were just completely packed. Sunday was actually probably my best day. I was working on the Tecmo booth, and I was there speaking to a lot of the Tecmo fans, as well as getting feedback from people who were playing Yaiba, just generally having a lot of fun with anyone who came to visit and stuff. It was, there was always something going on around the booth all the time. One of my highlights of the day actually was Richard Epcar was signing that day, and I managed to catch a Facebook post by him just before, where he was talking about himself and Ellen had just on the Saturday gone to the Globe Theatre and gone to watch Warhorse in one of the theatres in, I think, Leicester Square area. And so it kind of, put in a nice piece for conversation, and I was actually really, really fanboying over meeting Richard. It's one person I wanted to see over the whole weekend. I did actually tweet out that morning, I mean, if there's one person I wanted to see, it would be Richard Epcar, and I didn't have to see Troy Baker, which everyone else was really hyping to see Troy Baker. I was really, really dead focused on seeing Richard Epcar, and he was the nicest person. He was really cool. He moved out from the desk, had a photograph taken. We had a reasonably long chat for what space there was at the signing panel, longer than I did get with Tara and Yuri. and I got quite a few things signed, and he managed to do my Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, which is probably my favourite of the Ghost in the Shell movies. And I would probably say that his voiceover, his character, Bato, is probably like the main character in this film as well. So that was probably one of my highlights. He also signed this stock photo, which I think is really cool. I'm going to get that framed and put up on my wall as well. And I gave him a Dongxue mini chibi figurine, which he really loved from his reaction. So hopefully he took that away and sticks it on a shelf somewhere. And while I didn't really know Ellen Stern's work so much, a lot of her characters, from what I know, are small characters. She plays a lot of moms and stuff, so you don't tend to pick up on her because she's not a lot of key characters, but she was one of the best people to talk to. While everyone was kind of getting stuff signed by Richard, and not many people knew Ellen, so they were kind of skipping Ellen, I was on the side just having a chat with her, and she was just the nicest person. She also did sign this from Bleach. That's one of the characters that she voices. That whole signing panel was probably my highlight of the whole weekend, and it took me kind of a while to calm down the fanboying and everything else. He also did sign my Dynasty Warriors 8 and 7 pieces, which was really cool. I didn't get around to seeing Troy Baker and Roger Craig Smith, which I did actually want to see them, but as long as I'd seen Richard Epcar, then that was me done, in a sense. And so it wasn't a huge loss not to have seen them. But I did bring that with me to get signed. Unfortunately, I didn't get that done, and I did bring that with me to get signed, and unfortunately, I didn't get that done either, which is the Assassin's Creed Revelations book, because Roger Craig Smith voiced Ezio, and that would have been really cool to have at least shaken a hand and spoken to both of them. Troy Baker also voiced Ryu Hayabusa, which I was going to get the Dead or Alive 5 art book signed, if possible, on the Ryu Hayabusa page as well. Other than that, things I managed to pick up over the weekend. Obviously I got the poster back there. I didn't really pick up much swag as such. I did buy this Deadly Premonition, courtesy of Rising Star Games, who were on the floor. They were really cool. They, in actual fact, they sorted out our problems with the Yiba booth, because we kept having the TVs shutting off all the time and we had no remote control to sort it out, which was a bit of a pain. What else did I manage to haul? Not much else really. I did snag some a Yiba poster, which I'm going to be using occasionally as a backdrop poster. But other than that, mostly it was a lot of interacting with friends, a lot of meeting new people as well. There was a lot of people who I've met for the first time from knowing them or speaking to them on Twitter, and that was a really good to kind of meet and put faces to names, etc. And I really look forward to the next con or the next event where I can kind of meet some of these people again. There was a heck of a lot of cosplay. Some of the Metal Gear Solid 5 cosplay was my favourite. There was so much. There was so many talented cosplay artists and people walking around. Anyone who got around in big cosplay on a Saturday, well done to them, because the place was just manic. So having to stop for photographs every 5 seconds, trying to move from A to B would have just been a complete nightmare. So yeah, good, well done to anyone who did wear anything a little bit bulky on the Saturday. Would have been rather uncomfortable, I'm sure. Would have been rather warm as well. But there was some really good cosplays. So I need to catch up on things like photographs and things like that, and I need to post up some of my photographs that I took over the weekend. I didn't take that many because I was always busy, or I was trying to conserve battery on my phone. But yeah, roll on the May Expo. I mean, I was buzzing, and after the Expo, and I'm still kind of really looking forward to just jumping back in there again. Actually, 2 other things I did manage to pick up were Deadman Wonderland and One Piece from manga. Deadman Wonderland, Justin, who is on the Gamers podcast that I do, he has been hyping up Deadman Wonderland so much, and I thought, okay, DVD's out over here, and I saw it at the manga booth, so I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. So I picked that up. I think it was about 20 quid or so, and I couldn't stop watching it. It was absolutely brilliant. I also picked up One Piece, which I hadn't ever watched before. I played One Piece Pirate Warriors, so I kind of knew some of the characters and loosely some of the story. But now starting to watch One Piece from the beginning, and it's interesting so far. I think I just got to the bit with Buggy. Just defeated Buggy. They've now got Nami as their navigator. But I think that was 20. That one that also cost me 20 quid. But there's just so many episodes on there. I've got plenty to watch. So that one's definitely worth the money that I paid. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much my weekend highlight. If you guys do have any comments, or if you have any feedback at all, or want to ask me anything, then you can stick comments in the bottom section. If you did enjoy watching my interesting, uninteresting vlog, then you can subscribe, like the video, share it, whatever. But yeah, for now, thank you for watching. Until next time.